I get withdrawals. And what happens is I forget who I am. I lose my sense of identity when I haven't got that, because the minute I sit down and play, I become me. Otherwise, I'm just a poser.
All right, now can you hear me all right? That should be better. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Third Eye Heavy Collector's Corner. My name is Sid, and today I have a special guest here, my Uncle Jake.
I'm not his uncle. Hello. What's up, everyone?
And today we are going to be talking about some collector's items from the band Cream. I'm just getting a little set up here. Uh-oh, somebody's watching that recognizes you, Jake. And I don't know who it is. It's your mystery,
I don't know who that is either.
your secret admirer or somebody.
I don't want one of those.
Alright, so like I said, we're going to talk about Cream today. So let me give you a little rundown of why we're doing this and what we're going to do today. So I'm a student at Iowa Western Community College. I'm in the Media Studies radio program, and my uncle or friend, depending on who you ask, Jake here, is also in the radio program at Iowa Western. And this is for my broadcasting and streaming online class. But I love music, and I have a good topic here. We're going to talk about box sets and maybe some related collector's items for in music. And what's cool about box sets? Well, so if you buy a CD, the original release, you got the original stuff on there, but if you then bands later on will release a special edition with extra tracks. You might have tracks that they recorded at the studio session that have been unreleased, or you might get some live versions of songs, you might get some demos, you might get booklets with cool pictures and all kinds of stuff. So if you're really into a band, especially the ones that have been around a while, check for box sets. We'll be going over those in the rest of this series. And so the way that the show goes is this is my little monologue here, then we're going to go to box set news. We'll talk about a couple of new releases that are coming out pretty soon. They're box sets. Then we'll get into our feature artist segment, where we'll talk about Cream. We'll show off the box sets, and then we will end up the show with a little radio nerd mini feature where I will show off a radio show for my collection, and then we'll talk about what's going to go on next time. So that's the show format. And so first up is box set news. And the other thing about today is we are trying something new here at Third Eye Heavy Collector's Corner. I have a second camera that I'm going to try out for the unboxing of the items that we're going to show off today. So that's new, and we'll get started. So a couple new box sets that are coming out. The first one is from the Outlaws. Let's see here. Where's my... There it is. Alright, so right up above Jake's head there you can see the image. Jake's also got the CD copy of it here. So the CD version of this box set's already out, but they're coming out with a vinyl version of it. So the Outlaws is another southern rock band. They also play a little bit of traditional country music, and of course I like all that stuff, so I'm a real big fan of that band. And one of the similarities that this band had with Leonard Skinner actually is they had three lead guitarists at one time, and I'm not an expert, so I don't know how long that lasted, if that through their whole career or what. They were called the Florida Guitar Army. Huey Thomason, Henry Paul, and Billy Jones. So that's pretty awesome. I love it when bands go outside of the norm and do three guitars, because I love guitar-based, riff-based rock. And so This box set with the stuff that's on it is also the first time that most of Outlaw's early live recordings have been issued on vinyl. There's over 3 hours worth of material, and each LP is going to be a unique color. It'll have a clamshell box with a large 16-page colored booklet with rare photos and liner notes. And that one actually is coming out tomorrow, so that's pretty wild. So let's see the CD version of this, which Jake has over here.
Yeah, this has been released for a while. It even had a completely different image cover. This is the one that I saw at our local store, and I picked it up. I picked it out because Sid's like, hey, bring your box. He's like, hey, how'd you get that? It's not even out yet. Well, he was talking about the LP version. Because he's the one that knows all the stuff that's coming out, so...
You know what we ought to do? There we go. Alright, so let's take a look at this, the CD version of it. So you've got something to see, and then if you're a big Outlaws fan, you can go buy the vinyl tomorrow and check it out for yourself. Alright, so...
Alright. So it's 3 discs. Show you the disc there. There you go. As Sid was saying before, when he was talking about how you get a box set, you get all this other interesting stuff with it. So, booklet with a bunch of super cool...
Hold that up right there. No, just hold that up so I can adjust the...
Gotcha. No problem.
Adjusting the... I think that looks good.
All right. Yeah, so here's the booklet. Really cool pictures of the guys with some information there. If I can find like a pretty... Here's them in the studio. Kind of gives you an example of how big the band was. Hopefully everyone can see that. Our laptop is very far back, so I can't see it very well with my crappy eyes, but so hopefully it looks pretty good.
Let me get
to you guys.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And it's got just informations about all the different recordings and stuff, and kind of a little bit of a history of the band. So there's a live shot there. And I'll kind of go over them a little bit. I was listening to this in the car on the way over here. So the first CD has 14 tracks. I don't know what the LP version is going to have. It's probably going to be completely different as far as how many songs are on each LP. But there's like a set of 4 tracks, and each are like a different live set, taken from a different live set. So some of this, you have some songs that like repeat because of that, but I don't think that deters from it at all. So the first 2 discs are all live like that, but then the third disc, which is my favorite, are all demo versions of stuff from the original studio albums. And I mean, I know Sid also just loves demo versions because of how different they sound. Like I know on your Leonard Skinner one last week, you were talking about enjoying hearing some of the demo versions of some of the well-known songs like Freebird and all that. So, but yeah, this is a cool set. I wish I could afford the one that was coming out on vinyl. But yeah, so this apparently it's coming out tomorrow. I didn't know that until Sid just said it. So yeah, so hopefully you're able to go and pick it up.
Right on. Thank you, Jake, for the information on that box set. And if you know who the Outlaws are, you know, and if you don't, you should check them out.
Oh, and for people that need to know the name of it, it's called Anthology Live and Rare. You need to look it up. That's the name of it.
Right on. Okay. The other box set that's coming out here that we want to talk about is one from the Mighty Rush, progressive rock band from 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. I'm trying to think, I was probably Yeah, they came out in the like early '70s, didn't they? They had like Paris of Steel and all that stuff. Working Man, I think their first album came out in like '71, maybe even.
Oh, the first one was self-titled. Working Man's the only song I think of off the top of my head from it, but yeah, and then Fly By Night came after that. That was their first one with Neil, because they had a different drummer on the first record.
Looking for the image here. No, it's here somewhere. There it is. Yay! So this is for the Rush album Signals. This is the 40th anniversary box set. And it's got a new cover. The audio is remastered in 2015. It's coming out on vinyl for the first time, that remastered audio. There's also a Blu-ray with the Dolby Atmos audio as well as 5.1 surround sound and bonus videos for subdivisions and countdown. It's also got a 40-page hardcover book with new song illustrations, unreleased photos from the Signals tour. There's 4 7-inch records coming with it with new art, 3 pieces of lenticular art. And if you don't know what lenticular art is, I think if you've seen the last couple of Tool releases and some of their singles they did, like kind of those ones where you get the part of the box with the little glasses on it so you can kind of look at it and maybe some 3D stuff on there and whatnot. I'm guessing that's probably what that is. For band tour lithographs from the Signals tour, an original album cover sketch lithograph, double-sided 24 by 24 poster with new art on one side and an outtake photo from the original cover shoot on the other. Oh hell. There's Jake's face. And
You see that the album cover's a lot cooler looking, I assure you.
8 printed lyric sheets originally hand-drawn by Neil Peart. Neil Peart, the drummer for Rush. And so let me see, when the hell did I say that one was coming out? I didn't write it down. It's coming out soon, but I'm going to put a link here in the chat so you can get more information on it if you are interested. And there it is. Alright, so just to be complete, I'm going to find the release date here. The space bar on my keyboard's a little wonky. April 28th is when the Rush Signals box set comes out, so look forward to that. Alright, so on to today's feature artist, Cream. If you haven't heard of Cream before, a little bit about them. They were formed in July of 1966. They were considered a supergroup, which if you hear that term in the music world, kind of what that means is taking members from established bands and bringing them together in sort of a like a meta sort of supergroup. So they've already established names for themselves. You know who they are. You take the big names, the great musicians, put them together and try to come up with something that's a sum that's greater than the whole of its parts, or however that saying goes. I don't know. Do you remember?
No.
No? Eric Clapton was with the Yardbirds before that, and I don't remember who Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker were with, but those are the members. Eric Clapton on guitar, Jack Bruce on bass, and Ginger Baker on drums. So they put out a total of 4 albums and then disbanded, so they weren't really together that long, and that reminds me, it's kind of similar to what happened to Mahavishnu Orchestra, which was a jazz fusion rock kind of band that was kind of sort of a super group as well. In fact, they formed out of the ashes of like the Miles Davis band. I know John McLaughlin and Billy Cobham, I think, too, both played with Miles Davis and some of his bands. Let's see, McLaughlin. I'm trying to remember the other guys who played with him. But yeah, so that was sort of a super group thing too, and they put out, you know, four albums plus a live album and disbanded. I guess the thing about super groups must be that when you take those guys that have made a name for themselves and you know, have their own sort of reputation and star power, apparently, you know, you get personalities that clash, because kind of a similar thing happened there. Who knows where they could have taken it if the group had stayed together. Kind of the same thing with Cream. So, so after they split up, Jack Bruce, bassist, embarked on a solo career. Clapton and Baker joined Blind Faith. And then over the next few decades, they all would partake in a variety of different musical projects. In 1983, Cream reunited for a handful of songs on their induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Raise your hand in the chat if you've heard of Cream before. Raise both hands.
Oh, in the chat. Oh,
yeah, in the chat.
Okay.
Raise both hands if you're a big fan of Cream. Anyway, so they put out 4 albums. First one was called Fresh Cream, which is kind of a clever title, I think, you know. Second one was Disraeli Gears. Third one was Wheels of Fire. And the last album was Goodbye, which consisted of mostly live material. And we will get going. So out of these 4, they've only put out box sets for 2 of them, although the Disraeli Gears release did get a deluxe 2 CD version, which is not quite a box set, but it's got a lot of stuff on there that wasn't in the original release. So,
Can you imagine a band nowadays having this little of output and having this much of an influence?
yeah, it is pretty wild, isn't it? Well, that just goes to show you that it was really good. It was really good. I think I'm going to try to. We're going to do the unboxing here in a second. I want to try to adjust the camera a little bit and see if maybe I like it a little better.
To get this out of the way, we got a little bit more room.
I just think this looks better with your face in there, because otherwise it looks like a headless person talking about the stuff. So we've got Fresh Cream here. I'll give you that one. You know, you would think make that thing fucking zoom, man.
You gotta turn it that way.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to move it back. I like it.
It's kind of blurry though now, man.
Alright, we'll fix that here in a second.
I'm just letting you know. I know you want it to look perfect for your channel. There we go.
Alright.
Good. All right. Cool. So now I gotta look at my
Rocket
face. Thanks a lot, Sam. You got a bunch of people leaving probably now. Like, oh, they're gonna show him. Ah.
Alright, so this is the box set for the first Cream album, Fresh Cream. And you go ahead and hold that up if you want some people to see the cover.
Sure.
Dave,
Yeah, just tell me what you want me to grab, and I will oblige.
I wonder why it's why is it doing that now? See what I mean? It's kind of.
It's just kind of jumping around. Yeah, it's kind of slow now.
I wonder why that is.
A little bit. Sorry about this, everyone who's watching. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty here with the camera.
Yeah, it was suggested to me to use a second camera for the unboxing. And so I'm trying it out, and there's so many controls on this thing. Is it still doing it?
No.
Okay, because it wasn't doing it back there.
Nope.
Alright, well, we got that worked out. Alright, so yeah, go ahead and hold that up.
Yeah.
You can.
So yeah, here's the album cover. This is just like, let me see if I can get this close here so people can see it. I just love how they used to write stuff back then. Look at that fresh cream logo. I had to turn it this way. There you go.
This was the debut for what's known as the world's first power trio. Cream, grounded heavily in the blues with the fluidity of a jazz band. God, that's almost too far away.
Got that glare there. Let me just kind of. There we go. Oh, look at that.
There we go. So on this album, on the original one, classic blues covers comprise half the album. They take tracks like Willie Dixon's Spoonful and Robert Johnson's 4 Until Late, make them their own. Now on this deluxe 4 CD set that Jake's holding up there, there's 98 tracks. So there's 3 CDs in there. Features mono and stereo mixes of everything on the original LP, as well as singles, outtakes, early EPs, and alternate mixes, as well as recordings from the group's BBC sessions. So the BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation, the main network, I guess, as it were, in England. So they did a lot of cool stuff with music back in the 60s and 70s, which to me is unique because I don't feel like we really had that here in the States on any of the 3 major networks we had back in the 70s. But this one also has a hardback book featuring photos and liner notes, so we can start busting all that out and seeing what we got in there.
I'm interested myself. I haven't seen any of this, and we've been friends for a year. He doesn't show me any of this. He doesn't want me to.
Well,
Want me to mess with his stuff, I guess. I pulled them both out. Okay, it's kind of thin there. There we go. All right, what am I showing off first?
do it.
So here's the hardback book here. There's the cover. Now I'll flip through the pages here to kind of show you. Some handwritten notes. I'm trying to get the right angle here because our cameras are kind of all over the place. Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to get the ring light while you're doing that.
Here's well, that glare, that is just so distracting. I apologize for that. So there is there's a live shot there. There's Eric there, or as my dad called him, EC. A very young Clapton. There's the group of guys right there. Say, this is super cool. I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
this is a really interesting set. Another picture of the group there. And Sid can talk more about its content and everything. As far as the songs go when he gets back.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I don't know much of Cream, so I didn't realize that they did. I didn't realize that they did From 4 Till 8, which is like my favorite Robert Johnson song. So
You like that?
it's interesting to hear. Yeah, that's my favorite song of his. So.
Oh shit! I just broke it.
He's just setting up the ring light so that we can get some better light in here. Maybe that'll help with seeing this stuff for you guys. For you guys to see the stuff a little bit better.
Yeah. probably tell by looking at me, I'm not the. I need to work on getting set up in advance, but I think that's gonna be good. All right. Yeah, don't break the camera. Well, fortunately, I didn't break it the last time I tried this. It was just the battery was dead. So, but I did scare myself when I tried to do this last week ago, last Friday. Knocked it over. Don't tell Dave. But I knocked it over and bent my USB cable.
You're live on YouTube.
I know.
Don't tell Dave. Dave's at home watching right now. Going, oh yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I smashed my USB cable. Thought I smashed the camera, but fortunately I didn't. These things are pretty durable, and it was just the battery just happened to be dead. So I figured that out and got the battery charged, and now we're rolling again. So, did we show off all that
I showed
stuff?
off the book a little bit. I didn't know if you wanted me to show, like, I didn't want it to be a reading session. I didn't want to show off the whole book. I figured you'd want to show a little bit of that and then a little bit to the CD. Is this a CD, I'm assuming, where the CDs are? Yeah, okay, so there's your 4 discs right there. Cool cover there. Different fonts. We're near the font. There you go. Right there. It's kind of a cool image on the back. I said I don't know much about Cream, so I don't know if this is on the original release or not, but that's a pretty cool picture there. And is there anything else you want to say about this one?
Let's see, I want to tell you what my favorite songs are on it. I'm So Glad, which is a good song. I'm not so familiar with the rest of the stuff on this one. I spend so much time listening to music, it's hard for me to get to everything that I want to get to, even though I've been around for a while. But I am looking forward to checking out the rest of this one. So some of the other Cream albums I like some stuff on I know about. So you put that book back in there, and then we'll move on here.
So are these ones we're showing off? Are these still available, or are these pretty hard to come by?
They've been out a while, at least a few years, so most of them are probably all gone.
Yeah, they don't get reprinted though. Like the Green Skinnerd one, like that gets reprinted.
Yeah.
These aren't ones that get re-released or anything.
Yeah. So, Cream's second album is Disraeli Gears, and this is probably the one that has the most of their hits on it, as it were. Strange Brew, if you're a Cream fan, you know Strange Brew, Sunshine of Your Love, Tales of Brave Ulysses. The thing I like about Tales of Brave Ulysses is actually that the first time I heard that song, I heard a cover version of it by a doom metal band from Chicago, none other than the Mighty Trouble. And so,
yes,
and they did a really good version of it, and that was actually the first time I heard it. And it wasn't until a few years after that where I heard the original version of it, so I could see where it sort of came from. But yeah, pretty progressive. My light just went out by itself. I don't know what the hell happened with that, but hey. Now, so like I mentioned earlier, this one doesn't have a box set, but it does have one of these deluxe editions. The deluxe edition thing, I think there's a separate entity that manages these, but what it'll be, so like Leonard Skinner has a couple of these, the Allman Brothers. What they are is they're deluxe versions. They got at least one extra disc with unreleased stuff or demos and stuff like that. So not a full-blown box set per se, but still something really cool with extra material on it. So there's the Disraeli Gears release. This is also an alternate album cover. The original album cover is this one. the red one. And so when you get this 2 CD one, you get this alternate cover on here, which is really cool. But I'll let Jake show that off over there.
Yeah, and these that just say this deluxe edition, a lot of bands have released. I don't know if it's the same label or what, but a lot of bands, Sabbath have released a bunch of those too with bonus tracks and all kinds of things. So here's when you open it up. It's just 2 shots of the band there. I'll hold it so people can see it there. This is interesting for me as it is for you guys. I haven't seen any of this. So I have one Cream album. It's this album. It's on vinyl. That's all I have, and it doesn't have all this stuff with it. So.
So, and yes, both Jake and I love doom metal, and so.
There's a whole package there.
But Jake.
There we go.
It's sort of a running joke in our class about doom metal and different kinds of music, because our teacher Bill, who's on the stream now, is a big music fan as well. So we always talk about different genres and rib each other.
I don't know if ska is music. I don't know about that. He's a big ska fan.
Somebody's going to come and pull the plug on my internet now. But yeah, the classroom thing didn't work out. I just couldn't get the Ethernet. Even with the Ethernet, it was still a little grainy. So I just decided to do it at my house.
Really cool booklet, Sid. I gotta tell you, man, this is really interesting stuff. Yeah, same thing. Kind of the Outlaws one. You have some information, some some pictures of the band, and I like this. Is cool. This alternate artwork. Very 60s psychedelic. Like you'd see on like a Jefferson airplane tunnel thing.
Oh,
no surprise.
Those kind of remind me.
No surprise there. They've got a. If you look real close, I don't know if you can see it on the stream. They've got a Albert King record right there. Not a surprise, as these guys were huge blues fans. Not a surprise that they would have an Albert King record in their studio.
This box set, this deluxe edition came out in 2004. It's got the original album, Disraeli Gears, both in stereo and mono. It's got 2 outtakes of Lottie Mama. It's got 5 additional demos, 9 BBC recordings from 67 through 68, which again, those BBC recordings are British Broadcasting Corporation, so the TV and radio media company in England. So they put these bands on, then they recorded all this stuff. So they've got like a vast archive of stuff the bands can pull from. This one also has a previously unavailable alternate version of Blue Condition, where Eric Clapton sings lead vocals on it. There's both stereo and mono mixes of that, and so. Cream, Disraeli Gears. That is the second one. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one doesn't have a box set either. This is just the Cream's 3rd release. I just thought I'd throw it in so you can kind of, since they only had 4 albums, I figured why don't we just talk about a little bit about them all.
Were you going to go over your favorite tracks on this one? Disraeli Gears?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that at the beginning, but Strange Brew.
And what's some of your, like? Do you like some of what's some of the bonus stuff that's really good on there that you can't get somewhere else?
Well, the BBC recordings of Strange Brew and Tales of Brave Ulysses, probably. Also, the Lottie Mama song has some history to it, and that one has a mono outtake on here. And as far as the stereo stuff, so we have stereo demo versions. There's a stereo outtake of Lottie Mama on there as well. Lottie Mama's kind of a blues sort of standard kind of thing. So that's it for that one. We'll move on to, so like I was saying, they only had 4 albums. I figured we'd talk about them all a little bit, even though they don't all have box sets. So the Wheels of Fire release doesn't have a box set or a deluxe, but when it was released, it was a 2 LP, 2 disc set. White Room, I mean, Come on now. If you've heard White Room by Cream, you know what I'm talking about.
That's a heavy song.
It is a heavy song, so you can go ahead and we'll show that one off here.
Yeah, so here's... Oh, boy.
Jake, did you remember to plug the Ethernet cable back in?
Yes, I did, Bill. See, I can't even see the computer from here, and I know Bill's the one asking me. And I can't even read any of those. It's too far away. But like, I know it was Bill that's asking. Yeah, so here's the
camera's choppy again for some reason. I apologize, folks. I don't know why that is.
This is such a cool... I remember first seeing this cover somewhere at a record store and just being like, what is that? Like, you really can't tell. It's just so cool. And yeah, this was released originally, I believe, a 2 LP set. So is there anything extra on this set, or is this all the same?
Yeah, that's all the same stuff.
Okay.
So like I said, it was already a 2-disc.
Kind of track listing there.
1 disc is studio, 1 disc is live. There's 4 live cuts on the 2nd disc. And so as of June 2020, however, which as we all know was in the early days of the pandemic blowing up, but at that time anyway, there was some talk on the internet about whether a super deluxe version was in the works. Now the super deluxe version is the Disraeli Gears one. They were going to make one of these for Wheels of Fire. They were talking about it. It was still being talked about. Bill Levinson, who I believe is part of the deluxe edition people that does these things, had said, probably, considering all that's transpired in 2020, I'd guess 2021. It's completed, and Universal is talking to a collector who has unreleased mixes from the sessions. Hopefully they'll be able to gain access to them, and we can add them to the set. So it was being worked on. As of now, it has still not been released, but hopefully they will come out with that so we can get some extras from the Wheels of Fire sessions. But so you can go ahead and show that one off there on the...
I've been waiting for this because this is a cool thing. So here's this kind of plain gray kind of cover. You open it up, and it's just this whirlwind of just psychedelic treat for the eyes, so to say. Very, very of the time, that is for sure. What are some of your favorites on this one, Sid? I mean, you mentioned White Room.
Yeah, White Room so far. I need to listen to it some more to find out what else I like on it. But
And how's the live tracks sound? Do they sound pretty good?
yeah, they sound pretty good.
You never know with live.
Well, the cool thing about live tracks is a lot of times they'll do extended jams and stuff. So when they get going on the guitar stuff, I really like that.
Oh, that's what I should have mentioned. For anyone interested in that Outlaws thing, if you like jams stuff, not Allman Brothers jamming where Whipping Post where it goes on for 20 minutes, but there's definitely some songs on the Outlaws set that they just start jamming, say a 2-3 minute song becomes a 9-minute song, and that's really cool to hear, especially when you've got 3 guitarists.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Molly. How are you? I'm glad you're watching. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention at the start of the stream is I know my hair looks funny today, and the reason that is because I do think that I forgot to rinse the conditioner out of my hair when I was in the shower this morning. So my hair is all matted down. And if you know me personally, you know that bothers me. And I don't know why it should bother me much anymore, because my hairline's been receding for a while now, and I still get upset about that, so why would I be worried about my hair being flat from not rinsing the conditioner out? But yeah, I did that. That was a thing. Anyway, so we got one more box set to show you here, and this is the Cream release called Goodbye. This is more or less a live album. It was from their final tour. So they knew they were going to disband. They did a final tour in 1968.
Get over here now. Okay, there we go.
And yeah, let's get the... There we go.
There we are. Yeah, I mean, I like that they actually knew it. There's so many bands, me and Sid, we've been listening to music for years, big music fan for years. So many bands release a final album not knowing it's going to be their final album. I mean, look at Reinventing the Steel.
Pantera. Or as Ricky Rackman would say.
Maybe a hint to next week. But it's like that. You know, some bands don't know that it's going to be their last album, but Cream actually planned it ahead of time, knowing that it was going to be their final album.
So with this one, there's 4 CDs in this box set. There's 36 tracks, and like I said, it was recording during the farewell tour, October 1968. The final date was in the UK. It was on November 26th at the Royal Albert Hall, which is a famous music venue in England, and this album was released in February of 1969. 19 previously unreleased tracks, 10 more from the Royal Albert Hall show are in this box set, as well as expanded liner notes. Like I said, the original album did combine live performances from the last tour dates with a handful of studio recordings, and this box set has 3 U.S. concerts on it, from the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California, the LA Forum in Los Angeles, and the San Diego Sports Arena in San Diego. Did I say that already? And it also has some stuff, the Royal Albert Hall recording, so live recordings from 4 different places. Let's see. So let me see the back of that one for a second.
Yeah, you got all the Oakland Coliseum, Los Angeles Forum, San Diego Sports Arena, Royal Albert Hall, as mentioned.
So what I like about this one is the LA show on October 19th, 1968. Buddy Miles came out and introduced the band, which I think is pretty cool. So that's actually a separate track on the box set. Buddy Miles is from Omaha, and he went on to become a famous drummer. Well, he drummed with Jimi Hendrix for a while, and then he also played with Electric Flag and also did some solo stuff. So if you are a music historian, a music nut, if you really dig, stuff like that, that's some stuff to put in your pipe and smoke for a while. Think about that, because there are quite a few famous musicians that did come out from Omaha, even from back in the day. I know nowadays when people talk about Omaha and the music scene, they talk about, I don't know, what is it, shoegaze? Or
shoegaze from, well, I mean,
like, what is Conor Oberst?
I guess that'd be like indie, like Bright Eyes, yeah.
Indie rock. So I mean, that these days that's what Omaha's kind of known for. But if you dig back into Omaha music history, you'll find a lot of jazz and rock stuff.
24th Street, correct? Like, they had a lot of jazz clubs down in North Omaha.
Yeah. So, but kind of, I'm looking at it kind of looks like the set list is mostly the same on these, but White Room, they did a version of Crossroads, and then Sunshine of Your Love. I think. Well, here, you can go ahead and take that one out and show that off here. Let me open this up for you. Let me
go through the book more. So let me show off. Do the CDs first. That's cool. The CDs have a different. See, I'm seeing this for the first time too, guys. So kind of a different cover there. And then here's just the same packaging. And they didn't put anything on the back. It's a bit of a shame, but.
Thank you, Anna, for telling me that you have also forgotten to wash the conditioner out of your hair, because I think this is the first time I've done that in a long time. So I felt really dumb about it because I didn't realize it until I got to school. And I'm like, well, I don't have time to go rinse it out of my hair. I'm just going to have to go in, like, whatever. I asked Jake if he ever forgot to rinse the conditioner out of his hair, but...
I said, what hair? What are you talking about? That was my response. It's like, I don't have enough hair to forget to rinse it out. Those are really cool. That's a cool shot of them playing on stage there. Really, that's a cool little old. I believe it's an advertisement for the record. That's pretty cool there. Look at this. Sid doesn't know I'm taking this stuff when I leave this place. That's what he doesn't know. So here's all the different singles from different places. There's some Japanese singles in there. Well, this is interesting. You can kind of see the Billboard charts of back then and kind of all that was on there. I'm guessing Cream is in here somewhere. Very long list. That's cool. There's like some newspaper headlines. Very interesting book, Sid. Thanks for showing it to me, by the way.
I'll sell it to you for $500.
That's a big no on that one.
Okay, 400. No, I actually probably can't sell you that one. Sorry, but you can maybe check it out one of these days. I'll get you a little library card. You can check out some of my box sets. How's that?
Is there anything specific you want to show in this one, Sid? This is the final one we're showing. So is
Yeah,
there
that's
anything
just
kind
not
of that
really.
you want to show? Anything interesting that popped out to you when you've looked through it?
No, just you know, the fact that I have it and it's on my list to go through one of these days. Someday when I get a vacation, I can sit down with my box sets and enjoy them.
Guess we'll never get to look through them.
Alright, so what do we got here? So that is the final box set we're going to go over. The last feature that we have. Man, I forgot to do my titles this time. But we are on the Radio Nerd feature segment. So what is the Radio Nerd? What does that have to do with anything? Well, I have a podcast called the Radio Nerd Podcast. Season 1 was done last fall for my podcasting class, and I am developing Season 2 as we speak. I am hoping to have Episode 1 of the second season out in June. I've been a radio nerd since I was a kid, and over the years have collected radio shows in various formats. So if you're looking up radio shows from the past, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. So the stuff I collect was the stuff that was sent to rock radio stations in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. And so, of course, in the 60s and 70s, we're talking about vinyl. Up until there was a few radio shows distributed on reel to reel. You'll see those on occasion. Mostly, though, for the most part, it went from LPs to CDs, which came out in the late 80s, and nowadays it's done electronically. So as far as collecting any radio shows that have been on in the last 10 years or so, you really don't find those because they were distributed over satellite or an electronic link, so there was no physical copy. And to my knowledge, nobody has been saving those. I think if I worked at a radio station, I'd be secretly keeping copies of those for myself, but sure people are. But anyway, point being, so since this is a Cream radio show and this came out, why don't you grab that one out of the bag there.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah,
I did not realize you had a vinyl sitting over here.
This is
Oh yeah, switch the cameras there. If you want to actually, I mean, this doesn't really have like a cover or anything, but kind of interesting to.
Yeah, it does. Well, it kind of does.
Here you
Take
go.
that cue sheet out. Take that stuff out of there.
Take the sheet out.
Yeah.
Right here.
I mean, take the whole thing out.
Oh, gotcha. There we are.
All right, hold that up.
Alright, there you go.
We're getting choppy again. So what this is the AT&T Showcase of Rock. That's the name of the radio program. This is the Cream 25th Anniversary Radio Special. This was put out by a company called Unistar, so AT&T is the sponsor. They are the ones buying most of the commercials on the show and sponsoring it. And so, I think there's 3 LPs with this one. Why don't you take one of the LPs out and show that off? So this show
Careful there.
was distributed in 1991. It was supposed to air on the weekend of April 19th through 21st on 1991. These are stereo discs, and so this one is, I mean, most stuff like this has a degree of being hard to find anyway. Maybe once every couple of years you'll see a copy of this one go through like eBay or Discogs or something like that. And so what's cool about radio shows? Well, what's cool about radio shows to me, the ones I collect anyway, a lot of radio shows are like live versions, so you get to tune in and hear a live, recorded live concert from some band. But I like to collect the ones that have the interview material on them, because I love to listen to musicians and hear them talk about their lives and the music they made and how they created it and why and stuff like that. And so that's a big part of why I collect these radio shows. If outside of that, there's TV programs, there's magazines, but I love being able to listen to hear and then hear the music going along with it as well. And I want Jake to hold up one of these things.
What is this? This is just like the...
This is called a cue sheet. So if you're a DJ in the radio station and you're playing these things, you need to know what tracks to play on the record.
Sure, a little closer there.
What you know what? Let me adjust the. Hold that like right there, and then let me adjust.
Yeah, no problem. It's gonna be hard to read because the type is pretty big, but not on the camera. It looks like it's small, at least from where we're sitting.
Yeah. So what these show is, what's on the tracks you're playing, and then it shows the commercial spots. It also tells you where you insert your local spots. So if you're a DJ at a radio station, you will need to insert local commercials into these things. So on this one, like for instance, on the first track, first disc. Wait, that's on this one.
That one.
So we've got interviews with Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce. We've got a couple of Cream tracks. Well, actually, there's a Yardbirds one on here, For Your Love, and then by Cream is Sweet Wine and I'm So Glad. And then we've got 30-second spots from Volkswagen, Frito-Lay, and the U.S. Army Reserve. And then we've got 65 seconds for the local commercials. So if you're a DJ, you need one of these to kind of get an idea of how much time you've got to wait for the commercial spots, and then when you are able to insert those so that you're ready to do it when the time comes. And so that is the Radio Nerds segment. I have a little audio clip to play. Now this is an audio clip of a radio show about Cream, but it is not from this one because I don't have this vinyl ripped yet. And so I have an audio clip to play, and this is from a program called Off the Record. Off the Record was a radio show that was put out by Westwood One, and it started out in the 80s, again distributed on vinyl. Early 90s went to CD, and then later on, maybe mid 90s, it split up into 2 shows. So there was an Off the Record Classic, which aired on classic rock radio and featured classic rock bands, and then Off the Record Special, which was like the new rock, containing more contemporary bands and stuff like that. So, and this one is from 2005 from a Off the Record Classic by Westwood One, and Eric Clapton is just talking about why he's doing the music we got here.
I get withdrawals, and what happens is I forget who I am. I lose my sense of identity when I haven't got that, because the minute I sit down and play, I become me. Otherwise, I'm just a poser.
Alright, so hopefully you could hear that, and enjoy that. So, if you're me, you sit there and listen to Eric Clapton talk about what's going on. And to me, that's just priceless in what I do, what I love to do. So that's why I love radio shows. And if you want to know anything about radio shows, get at me. Got a lot of knowledge in my head about this stuff. So if anybody has any questions about anything we covered today, then you can type them into chat, or if you don't get them in on time, email me. And in fact, I'll put my email address in the chat here. Might take me a minute because my space bar doesn't work great. I'm also going to be coming out with a new podcast as well, the Third Eye Heavy podcast. First episode coming out on April 7th. You can also, if you're interested specifically in radio stuff, you can email me at that one. I got an extra character on there. Alright, that's better. Alright, so next time, what's going on next time? Next time we are going to talk about the mighty Pantera. I have a box set or two, some special things from Pantera. Pantera, if you don't know who they are, they're a metal band. Gosh, they came out in the mid-'80s, kind of a hair band at first, and then put out 4 albums. The last one, well, the 4th one anyway, is when Phil Anselmo joined the band, and then that was before their major label debut. Major label debut, I believe, was in '91, was Cowboys from Hell. And Phil's the man. The Pantera broke up back in the aughts. I don't like using that term, but y'all probably know what I mean when I'm talking about the OOs. And then before they could ever really talk about getting back together, Dimebag Darrell was gunned down at a club while he was playing with this other band, Damage Plan, and then Vinnie Paul sadly passed away at the age of, God, I think he was 54, wasn't he? That's only a year older than I am. So I did party a lot in my 20s, but I'm glad I didn't party as much as he did, because I might be gone, but I'm not. Thankfully, I saved myself before that happened. So where I was going with that is they didn't really getting back together because they can't do that, but they're doing a celebration tour. So it's Phil Anselmo on vocals, Rex Brown on bass,
Rex Anselmo,
Charlie Benani from Anthrax on drums, and Zakk Wylde, who he did some solo stuff, played with Ozzy Osbourne. He's got his own band, Black Label Society. He's going to be doing it on guitar. As far as I know, the closest they're going to be is either Denver or Oklahoma. They're playing Rocklahoma, which is a big festival down in Oklahoma. They're playing that this year, so if anybody wants to road trip, well, let's talk. Rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell.
for sure. Yeah, I said before you
Vinnie Paul too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, both brothers are gone. For people that don't pay attention to metal, there was an uproar when this tribute thing was coming. We'll talk about that when we get to that stream. But Sid, I want to say thank you for having me on. This was a blast.
Well, thanks for being here, Unc. We will
I'll
do another one.
I'll be back for the Pantera one because we're both massive Pantera fans. I'm actually sitting here like, you didn't call them the Cowboys from Hell? Come on, man. It's so easy.
Well, Cowboys from Hell. All right, everybody. Yeah. So, again, email me if there's anything you want to know or suggestions for future shows. And in the meantime, we will move on. Oh, I got one other thing to do here. It's only going to take a second, but I've got to do it because I forgot to do it before. Oh. Yay! There it is. That's that radio show image. I forgot to put that up, but that's because Jake was holding up the album, so you didn't really need to see this anyway, but I wanted to show it because I have it on the...
A little clearer on there anyway.
I get
so it's
withdrawals.
nice for them to
And what
be able
happens
to
is
see
I
it.
forget
Yeah.
who I am. I lose my
All right, everybody.
sense
Well,
of
thanks for
identity when I
viewing.
haven't got that. Because the minute I sit down and play,
we
I
are
become
going
me.
to-
Otherwise, I'm just a poser.
All right, sorry about that. I didn't mean to play the audio again, but OBS Studio, I accidentally played it again. I didn't mean to. But anyway, the next one's going to be on Pantera. At this point, tentatively, Friday morning at what we say, 10 a.m.
10 something around there. I'll be coming straight here from class, so
Oh, yeah, that's right. So maybe we should say 10:30 because
10:30 is
when I said
good.
10, that was when we were going to do it at school, but school doesn't work, so we're going to do it here.
yeah.
All right, 10:30 on Friday, Pantera, Third Eye Heavy Collector's Corner. All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks for
tuning.
watching, everyone.
All right, later.
You have to hit end.